But Death Stranding Director's Cut here, of course, was shown as well in the State of Play. And it says, first look at the enhanced and expanded Death Stranding's experience for PS5, new missions, new equipment, and more awaits porters. Now, before we go into Deathloop, I just think it just makes sense to talk about this. I'm assuming you're familiar with this particular situation, though, Preston, where Kojima was kind of offended on the term director's cut. So to go into this article here for more clarity, according to The Verge here, it says here in quote, Death Stranding, the director's cut isn't a director's cut, says director Hideo Kojima. Says here, in my opinion, I don't like to call director's cut. Continuing on here, he says... says Death Stranding Director's Cut is coming to PS5 on September 24th, but don't call it a Director's Cut, according to director Hideo Kojima.
I love the headline.
Says here in quote, a Director's Cut in a movie is an additional edit to a shortened version that was either released reluctantly because the director did not want to have the right to edit it, or because the running time had to be shortened, end quote. Hideo Kojima explained in his Twitter this morning. Continuing on, it says here in quote, in the game, it was not cut, but was additionally produced, and that was included. Delectors plus. So in my opinion, I don't like to call it a director's cut. Continuing on, it says, based on Kojima's tweets, it seems like the new content coming to Death Stranding Director's Cut isn't missions or mechanics that had to be cut out due to time or budget. Kojima's directional vision for the game isn't now only being restored. The PS5 version is just getting new elements that are created specifically for this re-release. It's a misuse of the idea of a director's cut that Sony has already started to lean on with the recent announced Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, which adds the new island to explore with added story content, characters, armor, and enemies, a long-awaited fix for proper lip syncing for the game's Japanese voiceover, and DualSense specific features like the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. They're nice additions, but no one at Sony or Sucker Punch seems to be claiming that they're a part of the Ghost of Tsushima's directors Nate Fox and Jason Connell's original restored version or vision, end quote. I think he has a point. I mean, because it seems like it is, what is the word?
Buzzword.
Not like, yeah, like it's like a buzzword, yeah. But it's like, it's not true. Like it's kind of dishonest. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
I agree with him 100% because I was thinking about that too because it was just like they're calling it a director's cut when it's actually just DLC that's being added on, and I was just like, for like the article said with Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding, I'm like, Death Stranding was a complete game, and like Kojima said, when you think of director's cut, I mean, first thing now that comes to everybody's mind and most people's mind is the Snyder cut. Because after the Snyder cut, everybody else wants to release their cut of whatever movie is out. Yeah. So I feel like PlayStation's kind of using it just as like a buzzword. Oh, this is director's cut, but it's DLC.
Right.
Just advertise it as such.
And even the bigger controversy is them charging for the upgraded version of the games from like the older console to the current console, and paying when like on the Xbox side of the fence that wouldn't be the case. So like for someone jumping from PS4 to PS5,
money,
it's like $30 or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of.
I think it was like 30 for Ghost of Tsushima and 20 for Death Stranding.
Yeah, I know it was
something like that.
I don't know Death Stranding, but I know because we talked about it's 30 for Tsushima's quote unquote director's cut. My biggest thing about this is like props to Kojima immediately stepping out and be like, it's not a director's cut. I had nothing to do with this. It's like I'm not saying he's wiping his hands off it because it's still his game.
Yeah.
His story, but it's like this is not a director's cut. I love how he just gives out like accurately, like almost like a verbatim vocabulary definition of what a director's cut is.
Yeah, because he's a big film buff.
Yeah, so he's like, let's clear the air. This is here's a definition of a director's cut. This is not it.
Yeah.
Like Preston's saying, it should be like the premium edition or the deluxe edition. Yeah. Because they're just adding DLC.
Right.
It's it's like, it's weird. Go ahead.
A part of me is thinking like people are upset about paying extra because it is being advertised as a director's cut. It's like if you're gonna advertise a director's cut, it's because you released something that was unfinished. Like if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you just complete edition or Death Stranding Plus or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, like it's DLC at that point. Like, or just even like what they did with Spider-Man with the Miles Morales thing. I feel like that would have been a good way to go, at least for Ghost of Tsushima, because you're going to be in a completely different island.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima plus Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island or whatever the hell island that they're going to be on. You know, like,
yeah,
that makes more sense.
It's weird because like especially RPGs have like DLC. Like for me, like for example, Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 is borderlining Skyrim of how much has been fucking re-released.
Yeah, seriously, Jesus. Yeah.
So and you know, again, there's like, you know, Borderlands 3 the Gold Edition, Borderlands 3 the Prettier Edition, or whatever. I forget what they call it, but it's like, you know, the enhanced version. But there's an actual fucking name.
The Handsome Collection.
Handsome Collection. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. Same thing. So it's like let's say this game didn't. Let's say kind of ignore this game had already launched. It would be weird to like launch a game, and then have the bundle with the season pass, and then call that version with the season pass the director's cut.
Yeah.
It's like what? That's just again the premium, deluxe, gold. Complete, all these other words that actually describe it, and Sony's like, people like Kojima, he directed this, director's cut. Yeah. I'm just trying to imagine what Sony was thinking when Kojima publicly said, "This isn't director's cut." What's happening? What? You know what I mean?
Shut it down. Shut it down now. Yeah. I think to me it just seemed like it was just shitty marketing. Because the Snyder Cut was such a big thing, you know, running around the internet. I think they could just push that narrative of just saying that cut and people wanting to upgrade. But so it's kind of shitty, you know, and I hope they stop doing that, because what the fuck? It's not an actual director's cut.
In all reality, I'm okay with paying a little extra for upgrade, $20, $30, because I'm looking at it as DLC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm okay with doing that and paying $30 extra to get it for the new system.
Yeah.
I'm just more curious about how they're going to do that for people that bought it on disc like me.
Yeah.
So I know with PS3 to PS4 they had a thing where you could buy the upgrade digitally on the new system, but you still use the PS3 disc. I want to assume it's going to be like the same thing. Yeah.
I know in general there's costs associated. And then I just think that in general, compared to how Xbox has been doing it, it's been free, like really free, you know? And then the other issue too, when it comes to these upgrades to the PS5 versions, save data. There's been a whole issue with that too, you know, like the whole Doom situation.
I didn't even think about that, because there's no way I'm fucking finishing Death Stranding again.
You know, because it's like, it almost reminds me of like the Elder Scrolls Skyrim when they came out with that complete edition or whatever it was, the expanded edition.
Yeah.
And your old save didn't transfer over. Like you had to start the game over.
Well, here's another 300 hours.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
On a side note, it's really interesting you mentioned disc. The last game I got on disc was a gift. Was Star Wars Battlefront 2. So the last game I had on disc was in 2017.
It was one of the most controversial games that people hated.
It's really funny, Joe, because if you remember, it was a gift via gift card, and then I got Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then the analog grips for like $5. And I was like, oh man, this $5 analog grips are way more valuable than, or like I got way more of my money than this fucking Battlefront 2.